Radio. Broadcasting live from our studio in Nassau, the Bahamas, and throughout the world. TSR Radio. Pulling down the strongholds of the enemy in Nassau, the Bahamas, and throughout the world.
Well, good morning, everybody. Once again, your friends, Bishop Arnold Edwin Josey, the 1ST, and Dr. Benjamin Philip Emile Joshua Mcphee, with our special guest today, Dr. William Lloyd Thompson. Oh, it's going to be a show today. Welcome, everybody.
Good morning and welcome to this broadcast. And we are Trumpet Broadcast. We are excited to have the man of the hour. I hope he's prepared because he's going to be on stage and he's going to give us some great information, enlightening us, and also informing us who we are, where we are, and where we're going. Stay tuned. There's going to be an exciting show today.
Hey, that's good. That's good. Doc, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's all great to be among great minds.
Oh, man. We Dr. Mcphee and I have been enjoying it, and we just thank God so much for this wonderful opportunity on this beautiful network where we're now, as new as we are, we're reaching thousands of people today. And so, Doc, you get an opportunity to talk to the world. So you are the world today.
Praise the Lord.
Yes, yes.
My ship has come in.
Hey, well, Dr. Mcphee, that's a lead in for you. He got the ship coming, and I know you got the ship ready for the best of the best. You ready for that spot. So go ahead and talk to Dr. Thompson, Dr. Mcphee.
Thank you so much, Bishop. First of all, Dr. Thompson, certainly we are delighted to have you on this very unique and positive show. This show highlights some of the most important things in ministry, not only in ministry, but we also deals with things that are pertinent to the development of our nation, our churches, our schools, and life in general. First of all, Dr. Thompson, tell us a little bit. I know history will display that there's so much information about you. You've been a major force in this country in so many things, sports, church, junk canoe. But give us a brief synopsis of who you are and what you are all about in terms of your profession and indeed your calling.
Thank you, sir. My only disclaimer is that I'm a child of God, saved and sanctified and positioned to do the work He has called me to do. And He has been very kind to me down through my life. Whatever He allows me to put my hand to, He has blessed. And for this, I am just grateful to be one of His favorite sons. And that's my life right there, just being a child and a son of God who is in a position that He has placed me in to promote and catapult His kingdom to levels unknown.
Very good, very good. Yes, we're going to get into some of your other areas of interest. First of all, we want to start this program off, Dr. Thompson, in reference to reconstruction, other areas of where we are in terms of what we want to achieve. Your life as president started many years ago. In fact, it started as executive secretary, and I was a part of that as second vice president. And you came in under Dr. Sanders, and right there, Baptists took off. Dr. Sanders laid a strong foundation, but in order for all of those things to happen, he must have an executive secretary who's grounded, who's intellectually prepared, and has a vision to move Baptists even higher. You did that because you were the administrator of the Baptist Convention. You brought in new ideas, and you and your team, inclusive of the vice president, made Baptists proud. Tell us now, what is your opinion of Baptists today?
Well, before we get to that, we want to maybe go back to the genesis of the relationship and marriage between myself and the convention. I was invited in the convention. I've always been in a convention through the Mission Baptist Church. My pastor was a convention man. Ari Cooper Sr. was a convention man, and he and I had a relationship. I'm sure that Brother Josey would tell you that was, I mean, second to none. And I followed him every step he'd have taken, almost every breath he breathed. I was with and around him. But I was invited into the administration of the convention by Andrew Stewart. Andrew Stewart invited me to come and help him as executive secretary while he was executive secretary because he knew of my progress that I was making in America. And so when I came and he sought to get me involved right away, unfortunately, he fell sick and I had to carry on the work as executive secretary even before I was named or appointed to the position. So it started by the invitation with Andrew. And matter of fact, when I first came in, the convention was a little rocky road. It wasn't a smooth entrance because Andrew Stewart had me to preach in a crusade, which was then sacred only to Simeon Hall and Michael Simonet at the time. And Andrew Stewart invited me to preach on a Tuesday night. I could never forget it. And being a new person on the block, I mean, it caused some waves. And Sanders was then as president in Baton Rouge. And he got a call that night that this new person that preached about the people head and all of that. And Sanders came in, and that's when we have meetings on Saturdays. Sanders came in that Saturday, he jumped all over me. It was the report was not true, but he jumped all over me. And I humbly accept him as president, and he just grew the move. He saw my work, and when it was time for Andrew to resign because of his health reasons, Sanders appointed me, and we had a team that I think arguably was the best team ever in Baptist because what Sanders did, he made it clear that he understood education and he handled the schools. He allowed me to handle the convention, and with the giftings that God had given me, we were able to grow the convention and to bring in things such as Baptist banquet and all those things, and change the concept of the Baptist Day March that make it grow to something that the whole country came in to see. And a lot of other things we did only because Dr. Sanders gave me the freedom to do those things because he understood spiritually that God had gifted me with some gifts that could be used to promote the convention. Then after Dr. Sanders reached to the time when he was ready to admit office, the men, included Dr. Mcphee in that group, agreed that I should be the person to carry the convention to another level. And arguably, again, I use that word again, history will record what would have happened during my tenure as convention's president. I tried always to include every Baptist, be it a big church, small church. I tried to include them at the table, with each one sitting around the table as a king. There was no big kings and small kings. Everyone sat at the same level. And because of that, the convention grew from strength to strength. Many churches joined the convention, and it caused the convention not only to catapult here in the Bahamas, but around the world. And we became where now, for the first time in the history of the National Baptist USA Incorporated, it has a servant Bahamian in a position of his leadership. Now, before they would lead, we were called president, vice president at large, but that's only because we were leading a Baptist denomination. But I now serve the part of the team, the executive team, the first Bahamian ever to do so as a vice president around the table. But all of this came because of the knowing, getting to know how the structure of the convention, getting involved in the structure of the convention in the USA Incorporated, and getting to be known by the persons there, because this come by people knowing you. It doesn't come by that you're the president of the Nassau Bahamas, the Bahamas. That don't mean booty squad. That only makes you vice president large, and with no portfolio. So we want to make that clear. So,
what you're actually saying, Mr. President, is that you were a working vice president.
Yes. I've been voted into my position as that, and I pray though. My prayer is, Baptist, is that someone else amongst us would get to this position, this place in life where we can always be sitting around the table at the National Baptist USA Incorporated, because it's a big table to sit around. Matter of fact, it's the biggest group of organized Black persons in America. So don't mind those other denominations, those other groups in Villa Mecca. We have the largest following of Black person in America, and so we thank God for that, and that comes from prayer, getting to know, being involved, and becoming a part of.
But Dr. Thompson, something else. As a result of your president, matter of fact, we need to talk about a couple of things here. You have done something unprecedented in Baptism here in the country, in that you was president, and then you was gone, and you come back, and you were president again. In addition to that, you've got not only America, and sometimes folk forget that America is not the world, but you have gone global. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, let me just mention the first thing you said. One of the things, Bishop, is your life speaks for you. Do you know what is unprecedented? You use the word unprecedented for any Black person to lead an organization more than once. That's I don't care what it is.
I'm sorry, the word I did use is a miracle.
Yeah. But that again is a testimony. It's a testimony to what you would have done, and the person saw in you. And again, I try not to say William Thompson. This is what Christ done in me, and that's the humility I stand on. People say Thompson, but I know it's Christ in me. Christ in me. Now the world stage came so strangely, Brother Josey. I was sitting in the airport in Atlanta one day, waiting for a connecting flight, and I was reading a book by Owen Cooper. The book was written by Owen Cooper, and while I was reading the book, the gentleman who sat next to me asked me if I loved the book. I said, "Yeah, I love his writing. I always try to get his books." And after a few words, he let me know he was Owen Cooper.
All right.
Guess what? This Owen Cooper owned Tyson Chicken Farm, the big chicken farm in America. And so he was on his way to enter the Baptist World Alliance. And he asked me about the Baptist. I said, "Well, I know I heard Mama Stewart used to talk about it, but I knew nothing about it. So he asked me if I would like to come out. I told him about my schooling and everything that I've been through. And he gave me my first invitation about the Word Alliance. He gave me an invitation to come. Now watch how God works. Watch how God works. On that same summer, they had the Battle Word Alliance supposed to go to Jordan Amman, and they had some problem in Jordan Amman, and so they wanted to switch and come to a place that was more calm, and they chose the Bahamas. All right. Now, but when they made all the provisions in the Bahamas to go to the Battle Word Alliance, someone in the Battle Word Alliance held up his hand in the meeting and say, "What if Paul did not go to Macedonia because of all the strife was there?" So the Battle Word Alliance switched again and went back to Amman, Jordan, but they agreed to come to here in the Bahamas in the next year because of all the work was done. And so my first trip to the Baptist Word Alliance was sent to go to Singapore to make arrangement to come here, to bring it here to Nassau. And again, Josey, I got involved. And by getting involved, I began to know the players around the world. And the players around the world got to know me. So I began going up the ladder in the Baptist Word Alliance. I went up the ladder from one commission to another commission, until finally I became vice president of the Baptist Word Alliance. Just think about that. Just think about it. Vice president of the Baptist Word Alliance. And that happened because of when I get involved. And one thing the Lord has gifted me with, once I get involved, I become involved and people get to know me. Arguably again, the best internationally known religious leader we know in the Bahamas would be Miles Monroe. But truth be told, I have preached in more cities and continents around the world than Miles Monroe would have preached in. But I have not wanted to promote that because I always saw it as a gifting from God. And it wasn't all about Thompson, it was about what God would have me to do. And so my life has been just that simple life. You meet me on the street, you don't see no air about me. You talk to me, there's no air about me, because I am convinced in my heart all of this because God's gifting, God's anointing, and God choosing me for the season.
A lot of people don't know you the way I do, and so I can talk to certain things. You talk about God's guidance and His direction, but your whole life has been centered around people and dealing with people. The world don't know about your work in tourism, and some of them don't know of your work as a sporting icon. Then, of course, there is the cultural festival of the Bahamas that we will share with the world today called Junkanoo. So
Yes.
all of these things allowed Reverend Dr. William Thompson to a matter of fact, let me just jump in here, dog. Folk definitely don't know the side of you. They call you Dr. Thompson, but they don't know the fact, they just speak to theology, but they don't know the fact that you are a doctor of motors. And I just have to Mcphee because he don't know that. He don't know that. But you are a doctor of motors. So you just talk about your civic life, Doc, just a little bit.
Let me just talk about that a bit, Josey. I was blessed and honored at the age of 17 to be sent to Greer Technical Institute in Chicago, Illinois, to study mechanical engineering. Again, I said my life is woven by God. Again, God got to the forefront of it and led me to where I was able to achieve the title of being a doctor of motors based on how God has blessed me. But here is the crowning part of it. At the age of 21 years old, I was a service manager at the largest a motor company in this country, which was then the ABC Motors. A lot of people don't know that part of my life. You're right, but you're right about that. But God called me from that pretty quickly and positioned me differently. But we thank God for the journey. We thank God for the journey. And you know this, the sporting part we talk about, you know, baseball and softball is my life. Baseball and softball my life. And matter of fact, the Lord allowed to excel in it, that we are in the Hall of Fame, in the Bahamas Sporting Hall of Fame, because of our progress in those two disciplines. We thank God for that, and I don't want to, you know, sometimes you leave out persons who've been a part of your journey. Even during those times, you played a part in my baseball life, because you would hold on to the shop for me to go and make it work. And so, you know, I always say, and I just said it again last night at your service, I always say how important you are in my life, and I don't forget people who would have helped me to get where I am today. I never forget those, because each of us has to stand on someone's shoulder to get where we are. And let me just put a plug in for you also. Josey went to St. Augustine's, which was the third best school in the country at the time. Eastern Senior was the best, and then you know, but he went to St. Augustine and was a very good student, and he got to not only study academician, but also he studied music, and he was able to play trumpet to the level that we were able to get him on the police force. He joined the police force with the police force band. He didn't go through all what everyone else went through. He got the easy way in. He went into the band. He went into the band, and then he switched over. I don't want to talk it, but thank you for I talk it. That wasn't easy way out, though, Doc. Well, Paris, I thought it was easy. But anyway, we move on. But the journey has been a wonderful journey, and I thank God for it. I thank God for the love that the Bahamian people show me even today. Anywhere I go in this country, be it white or whomever, white in the white areas, the black areas, all show a major respect. And for me, wherever I go, they move to give me a seat in this country, white or black. So I thank God for the country that is paying me back for what they felt I would have given to the country.
Doc, I think that's a good time right there for us to take a break, but I need you when we come back to talk a little bit on the cultural side. How could a man of God, a holy man of God, be talking about Jonkanu, telling the people what that Jonkanu thing is all about? We're going to take a break. This is the Trumpet Sound Network, and you're listening to the Morning Breakthrough with Dr. Philip Mcphee and Bishop Dr. William Thompson.
Trumpet Sound Radio. Broadcasting live from our studio in Nassau, the Bahamas, and throughout the world. And now, another 55 minutes of the best in gospel music.